Hello everyone, and welcome to Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting series on what if Naruto had the power of the ancients and become a super Naruto. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. 5 years after Kyuubi attack, Sarutobi was worried. He had just gotten a report that Naruto had killed a Chunin who attacked him. Normally this wasn't a problem, but this Chunin was an Uchiha and the council would hear none of it. Kakashi, what should I do? The council wants Naruto-kun dead or turned into a weapon. I can't have that, even if it costs me my position as Hokage, said Sarutobi to a man hiding in the shadows. Sarutobi-sama, the only thing to do is to lock him away from everyone. I say the Forbidden Tower, said Kakashi. Sarutobi looked at Kakashi like he was crazy. That can't and won't happen. Not even the Hokages entered that place, and with good reason, said Sarutobi. The tower was left over from the start of the New World. No one knew what was in it. Even a team of Anbu who entered never came out alive. The legends went so far as to say that only the greatest warrior could enter and leave. Other legends say that a grand power laid in wait for its true master to come for it. It's the best shot he has. Minato-sensei and Kushina-sensei would want it, said Kakashi. You're right. But I'm damning the boy. I hope to settle for 1,000 years of sin for this act of damning so young a soul to this fate, said Sarutobi as he went and made his decision to the council. 3 days later, Naruto was led through the streets by 4 squads of Anbu. His hands were bound by cuffs and chains. The people lined up on the street to watch as the demon brat was marched away like a criminal set for exaction. Many along the way throw stones at the boy. One stone hit him right on his whiskered cheek. He glared at the person who threw it. It was a girl with pink hair and a wide forehead. He knew this girl. He once called her friend and protected her from bullies. Guess that counted for shit. Good girl, Sakura-chan. Later I'll get you some ice cream, said a woman who looked like Sakura, but with brown eyes. Traitor, said Naruto glaring at her. One day this village will need me and I'll just laugh, said Naruto as one of the Anbu hit him in the back. Filth is not allowed to talk, said a man wearing a tiger mask. Our orders are to make sure he gets to the tower unharmed. If I see you pull some shit like that again, I'll kill you, said a woman in a cat mask. But he's the demon that caused Gecko so much pain. What about Gecko? Asked another man wearing an otter mask. Gecko and I have no ill will towards the boy for what he holds at bay, for he keeps everyone alive at the cost of his happiness and sanity, said Cat as they continued their march. It only took them about 15 minutes to reach the tower. It was at least 10 stories tall, black and silver. The front door was decorated with 4 animals: a blue dragon, a white tiger, a black turtle, and a red phoenix all over a green door. You're home for the rest of your short life, brat, said the otter, opening the door and pushing the boy in. They turned to leave, but Cat looked behind her and removed her mask, before letting tears fall out of her eyes. Naruto-kun, I'm sorry I couldn't protect you like I promised your mother I would. If you live and return, I will do anything to have your forgiveness, thought Yugo as she wiped her eyes and put her mask back on. In the depths of the tower, 4 beings arose from their slumber. The first was a man in his early 30s, long white hair, wearing a blue robe with a white dragon on it. The next was a woman in her late 20s, long red hair pulled into a ponytail. A nice figure that many women would die for, wearing a red robe with a yellow phoenix on it. Next was a muscled man wearing a green robe with a black turtle on it. The last was a woman with long black hair, with a goddess-like figure, wearing a white robe with a blue tiger on it. How long has it been since someone entered our tower? Asked the man in the dragon robe. To Long Dragon. At least 100 years, said the woman wearing the tiger robes. Tajera, dragon. It be, but a child and his hands be chained, said the woman in phoenix robes. True. I thought humans would get smarter, not more blinded by hate, said the man in the turtle robes. Calm yourself. He has potential and he seems to have a deep hate for those that betrayed him. I would like him as my student, said Phoenix. Already thinking of mating the boy. I do admit he is rather handsome for one so young, said Tajera, making Phoenix blush. Enough. This boy has all the power in the world, but no skill in it. We will train him, said Dragon. For good or ill, our purpose is to make him the most powerful being this world has ever seen, said Turtle. Upstairs. Naruto looked around him and saw many scrolls and books. Despite what many in his former village thought, Naruto was a bookworm and would train in only the physical aspect and later work on the jutsu theory. Before any of this had happened, Sarutobi was teaching him the crazy monkey style of taijutsu, and he was gifted in that field. Even though he wasn't a blood member of the Saru clan, he was one of 3 outsiders to be taught the basics. Naruto started to walk around until he came to what looked like statues of all the animals he saw above the door. "Greetings, mortal kin," said the dragon statue. "YUCC can talk," said Naruto in a bit of fear. "We all can, child. After a few thousand years of life it was simple enough for us," said the tiger statue. "You are the heir apparent of this tower. All within these walls belong to you, even we," said the turtle. "We will train you in everything there is to know in this tower. You will be a god amongst mortals, for you shall wield the power of the ancients themselves," said the phoenix statue. Naruto bowed his head. "Teach me to wield this power, masters," said Naruto. "Masters? No, we are mere tools for you to use until we are no longer needed," said Dragon. "Hi Dragon-sama," said Naruto bowing on one knee. "Rest for tomorrow you begin your training," said Dragon. 9 years later, Hokage Tower. Sarutobi was really pissed off. In front of him stood Team 7, who wanted another C-rank mission after that debacle of an A-rank mission nearly went to hell. Kakashi was the sensei of this lot. He was nose deep in that book that got him his ass handed to him by Kurenai, Anko, and Yugo a few times. Anyway, Sarutobi was listening to Sasuke about why they should be given another C-rank mission, and the third was starting to get a headache. "Alright, I have a mission for you. For a little over a year we have been getting strange reports of chakra signatures near the Forbidden Tower, and we need a team to check it out," said Sarutobi. "Yes, finally a mission with some promise to it," said Sasuke in his "I'm too cool" way. "You leave at once. This mission shoulders take any more than an hour," said Sarutobi, glad as they left his office. At the tower, Sasuke was a little too eager and bust the door down. Sakura was yelling like a fangirl, and his sister was too busy groping Hanabi to notice that until they looked around. In the center of the room was a boy around their age. He sat in the lotus position. His hair was blonde and fell to around mid-back. He was rather muscular and had a handsome face, only made more handsome by the whisker-like marks on each cheek. He wore a blue gi over a short-sleeve black shirt, white haori with the kanji for turtle, dragon, tiger, and phoenix around the word maelstrom. 3. Black pants. A white belt tape wrapped around his wrists, and black shoes. Asuka and Hanabi blushed just looking at him. They had gone far in their relationship and had yet to find someone 4. Willing to sleep with them. Sasuke thought he looked a little weak, but he could test his Sharingan on the poor bastard. Sakura just wondered how big he was. "Excuse me, sir, but what are you doing here?" asked Kakashi. The young man jumped up, revealing himself to be 5 feet 10 inches. He also opened his eyes, showing them deep blue. He spoke in a voice that hasn't seen practice in many moons. "I'm here because this is my tower. I've been here since I was 5 and have mastered many things and come to know several wisdoms of the great wheel of life," said the young man, making Hanabi and Asuka drool over him. "Okay, what is your name?" asked Sasuke, cracking his knuckles. "Naruto, but that's only because I can hardly remember what the villagers used to call me," said the boy, now reveling his Naruto. Kakashi's eyes widened. "Naruto, as in the boys who was banished for killing an Uchiha in self-defense?" asked Kakashi, remembering that incident only too well. "The same, though it was easy to kill someone when they think they have you licked," said Naruto, only to find a fist flying at his face. Naruto leaned back so far his knees were bending. He flipped himself over in the most unreal way you could think of and knocked the feet from under Sasuke, before flip-kicking him in the jaw, busting his lip. "You bastard, you killed one of my kinsmen, so I'm going to kill you," said Sasuke, getting up and throwing a kick at Naruto's head, with Naruto blocked with his palm and sent Sasuke on his back with a well-placed push. "Only because he attacked me first. A word to the not-so-wise, if you get up I'm going to hurt you," said Naruto as Sasuke got up and threw another punch. Naruto was getting irritated, and he let it be known when he grabbed Sasuke by the arm and left go before entering the tiger fighting style and slamming both paws into Sasuke before he jumped up and kicked Sasuke a few times in the face. "Holy shit. He just wiped your brother's ass bad, pretty bad too," said Hanabi. "So what? This ass still belongs to me," Maybe he can try it later when I'm too sore to walk, said Hanabi as she leaned in to kiss Asuka only to find herself lip-locked with Naruto. Hanabi jumped back bright red from kissing someone she just met. Damn, you're a good kisser. I'll also take you up on that offer in say a day or two, said Naruto before he kissed Asuka and jumped back as Kakashi attacked with a kunai. No one touches my students like that. You will come to Konoha regardless of who you are, said Kakashi. In truth, Kakashi was doing this for Yugo, who asked him to find a way to get Naruto out of the tower if he was alive. Naruto smiled before he put his arms around the Asuka and Hanabi. I can do that as long as I can stay with these lovely ladies, said Naruto. Alright, but keep up, said Kakashi as they left the tower. Instantly everyone felt a huge power flow out of Naruto as he barely stepped outside. Ops. Forgot to control the power for a second, said Naruto, getting it under management before they continued to walk. Kami-sama, what have we just unleashed into the world? Thought Kakashi as Naruto was flirting with Hanabi and Asuka. Hokage Tower. Council Chambers. Naruto was sitting on the floor in a louts position, leaning forward with a cup of sake in his hands. He looked around and saw he stood or rather sat before the Council of Konoha. He noticed a rather cute lady that looked like a dog, a man who was obviously related to Hanabi, a man who looked like an older version of Sasuke, a pink-haired woman, a one-armed man, a lazy dude, a blonde man, a giant of a man, and the old monkey himself. Everyone else was unimportant. What? If you got something you want to ask, then spill your guts, because all this staring is making me uneasy, said Naruto, drinking all his sake in one gulp. My boy, you've been in the tower for 9 years. It's hard to tell if you're a threat to our village. So do you mind clearing that up? Asked the white-eyed man. Certainly, mister, started Naruto. Hyuga, Hiyashi Hyuga, said the man. Right. Well, to answer you question, Hyuga-san, I'm a threat to those that make me out to be one. Hell, I'm at least on par with the old monkey here in terms of raw power, maybe even beyond, but he could still kick my ass as he has experience under his belt, said Naruto, sipping on his sake. Watch how you spec to the Hokage and the council, said Haruno, looking at him with a little lust in her brown eyes. Whatever, Pinky, said Naruto as Shiruno turned crimson in rage, but with even more lust in her eyes. Hanabi and Asuka stood near a corner and shivered. He didn't say it in deadly tone, but it was clear that he was a force to be recoded with when attacked. What made it worse was the fact that it almost sounded like a teen talking to grown-ups about trivial matters. Bullshit roots, said the man with one arm. 5 men appeared with the word nay on their blank masks. Naruto stood and looked around, before he cracked his knuckles and his joints. Danzo, what are you thinking? Said Sarutobi. Root was disbanded over a decade ago, but it looked like it was still active. If he's so strong, then he's a threat to everyone in this room, unless he works directly for my roots, said Danzo. Some of Naruto's bangs fell over his eyes. Sorry to hear that, old timer, but like I said, I'm only a threat to those that make me into one, and you, stated Naruto as he glared at Danzo with the force to make many shake where they sat, have made me into one. You die here, said Naruto, getting into a stance. Kill him, yelled Danzo as the roots drew their blades. Naruto bit his thumb and swiped it across his forearms, and 2 shields appeared. Both shields were black with green ritual symbols on them. Both were also 2 feet across. Naruto smiled as he got into a fighting style. 2 of the root members charged only to find their swords blocked by the shields. Thinking that he was trapped, the next root member charged from the front only to find 2 feet in his face, and Naruto lifted his legs and slammed them into his mask, breaking it into tiny pieces. He then pulled both his hand free of the shields and pulled small needles out of his wraps. The root member he kicked got up and charged only for Naruto to defy the laws of gravity and stand on his head. Naruto then pulled off a front flip and put the needle in his neck. Naruto felt 2 swords coming at him, so he did the splits and evaded the blades while sliding and popping himself back up. He grabbed onto Ani's arm and started to punch him repeatedly, before he ducked out of a slash to his face. He got close to the Anbu and hit him 3 good times with light taps in his heart area, stopping it. He rounded back on the root he was punching and slammed a needle into the base of his neck. The last 2 charged at him and attempted to cut him in 2, but his shields appeared on his arms and blocked the blades. Now, I've already killed your friends. You do not want to die fighting me, said Naruto in a cold tone. Both Anbu backed up and jumped in the shadows. Now this stopped everyone's train of thought. He had just told 2 Roots members to back off and they did. If it was a few things that you needed to know, it was these. 1. The Hokage was basically king of Konoha 2. The Uchiha clan only had 30 members currently. 3. Roots obeyed no one but Danzo. Naruto sealed up his weapons and walked over to the 3 Anbu he killed with ease as they stood in a perfect triangle.
"What have you done to them, boy?" asked Danzo, intrigued. If he could get this boy under his command, he'd be war 20 Roots members.
Naruto grinned before he pulled the needle for the broken mask's neck. This is the kiss of the dragon. 2. A move that was said to be lost over 1,000 years ago. I won't go into how it works, it's just that damn effective, said Naruto as blood started to leak from the Root's mouth, ears, nose, and eyes before he fell over dead. Naruto walked behind the other 2. He just lightly touched them and they fell over dead. These 2 dead the minute I hit them. A few light punches here and a needle so far in his neck that it severs his spine. In truth, I hate killing like this, but I warned you what would happen if you made me a threat, said Naruto as he pulled out 5 needles and threw them all at Danzo. Danzo never saw them coming. All 5 hit Danzo in his neck. Danzo gasped for air before he fell over dead. 3. And his eyes rolled into the back of his skull.
The council looked at the boy, no young warrior, in shock. He had killed 3 Root members without breaking a sweat, got another 2 to run and killed the man behind Root without even batting an eyelash.
I said I would kill him and I always say what I mean. 4. Besides, he would probably have tried to get me into his group so I could be one of his mindless fuck toys, said Naruto laughing as he pulled a bottle of sake out. You seem strong. How would you like to be a ninja of this village? Asked Hiashi, inwardly thanking about getting him to marry Hanabi as Hinata was already quite taken with Kiba Inzuka. Hiashi was not the only one thinking this. Yamanaka, Haruno, Inzuka, Itachi and several smaller figureheads had the same thing in mind. Sure, but on my terms. I still remember what that pink-haired bitch did when I was a kid. First I want my clan properties back. I know who my father is and will be taking his scrolls as well as my mother's. Second, I will only have children with 6 women and no more. Last but not least, if anyone messes with me, my policy stands about the threat, shinobi or not, said Naruto. Most of the council mentally cursed. They wanted him to have a clan within the next 20 to 25 years so they could begin to manipulate it to their will, but what he said, it would take at least 40 to 45, well past their deaths. In all other terms it was fair. Agreed. But you must have a child with at least one of your wives, before you turn 20, said Haruno, hoping for it to be her little Sakura. Oh hell no, lady. You out you fucking mind. When I have children it will be when me and my wives are damn ready and not before, said Naruto, stopping the council's plans in their tracks. Agreed, said the Hokage as he threw a set of keys to Naruto. The house is Central Avenue 156. Enjoy, said the Hokage as everyone began to leave the room. Naruto walked over to Asuka and Hanabi and put a hand on both of their waists and pulled them close. Well, how about you 2 lovely ladies showing a stranger around town, huh? Said Naruto as both girls looked at each other, giggling, and nodded as they came to an understanding. No way in hell are we letting this one get away, and tonight it's all fun, they thought while having large perverted smiles on their faces. In the streets of Konoha. Now Konoha was a village where you saw everything at least once, and sometimes there are things you don't see, and seeing Asuka Uchiha and Hanabi Hyuga on the arm of some man was not one of them. Many of the men had pissed off looks on their faces, but it was a Chunin that looked ready to kill. He had been trying to nail those 2 for almost 6 mouths, and some new guy does it in a day. He walked into the center of the street and glared at him. Who do you think you are taking those to girls like that? I'm Mizuki and those 2 should be on my arm, said the man. Naruto's eyes narrowed. He had a feeling that this guy was about to become barbecue. Asuka noticed and kissed Naruto, stopping him before he did some damage to the overconfident asshole. Back off, Mizuki, if you don't want to catch a beat down, said Hanabi, walking over to Mizuki only for him knock her to the ground. This pissed Naruto off. I'll take you to bed later. First I'm going to deal with you, bitch, Asuka, said Mizuki. Asuka, move, said Naruto before he started to run, though hand signs. Dragon, tiger, bird, hare, fire style, phoenix blaze kick jutsu, said Naruto.
Just as it implied, Naruto's foot caught on fire, but the fire was gold in color. Naruto rushed Mizuki and kicked him into the air with his unblazed foot, before jumping up above Mizuki. Phoenix Impact! Yelled Naruto as he spun in mid-air and slammed his blazed foot into Mizuki's back. Both started to fall to the ground. When they landed, Mizuki had several burns on his back and a look of pure pain on his face. Naruto just looked around and glared, before he moved over and helped Hanabi up. Naruto smiled at her. I hope he knows better next time than to pick on a pretty lady like yourself in the presence of a man like myself, said Naruto, making Hanabi blush. Hanabi leaned up and kissed Naruto hungrily. Asuka saw this and it was making her wet. Seeing Hanabi kiss Naruto like that made her want them even more. Hanabi-chan, let's head over to my house for the night, said Asuka, wanting to just take them where they stood. Alright Asuka-chan. Come on Naruto-kun, said Hanabi, grabbing onto Naruto's arm. In the Uchiha district, Sasuke was brooding and telling his mother Makoto how Naruto beat him. Now Makoto loved all her children, but she was starting to hate Sasuke. He was acting just like his father was before he gave into the Uchiha madness, that made him kill off most of the clan, before Itachi killed him. From the way Sasuke was taking about this, Naruto, it was safe to assume that whoever he had kids with would be strong as any Jonin at the age of 9. If only I could get Asuka to dump that slut Hyuga, 6, and bear children for Naruto so the clan can be so much more powerful, thought Makoto, sipping on some tea. Uchiha Head House. 750. Makoto wanted to laugh. She wanted grandkids, but she also wanted a good fuck as well. She knew who Naruto was, and after he wear Asuka and Hanabi out, she planned to take him to bed. She started to laugh as she heard the front door open. Time to get started on my plan, thought Makoto with an evil smile. Sasuke was scared shitless by that smile on his mother's face. He had seen that look when his mother planned on taking a man to bed, and he knew whoever walked through that door was in for a very long night. Itachi walked in, looked at Sasuke, shrugged, and walked out to meet their guests. In the living room. The living room of the Uchiha main house was not unique as many were led to believe. It was quite average. The walls were painted a light brown, which blended well when the right light hit it. Naruto sat in the love seat with Asuka and Hanabi sitting on his lap. He was enjoying himself as he played with their plump asses. He was just starting to get a moan out of them when Itachi walked in, followed by Makoto and Sasuke. Asuka and Hanabi glared at them before they both kissed Naruto and jumped off his lap. Sasuke activated his Sharingan and charged at Naruto. Naruto simple jumped up and slammed his fist into his gut, while Sasuke thought the punch was going to miss. Sasuke fell to the ground and Makoto looked pissed, activating her own Sharingan, but it was not meant for Naruto. Sasuke Madara Uchiha, what have I told you about attacking people who are our guests? Yelled Makoto. But Ka-sama, started Sasuke. No buts, young man. Go to your room now before I put you through what I put your father when he cheated on me, said Makoto, pointing to the stairs. Granted, I cheated on him first, thought Makoto, doing a little dance with her inner self. Sasuke, self-proclaimed king of Uchihas and all-around Vacuous, walked up to his room like a child who just got a spanking for stealing a cookie from the jar. Makoto turned and bowed to Naruto, hoping to put on a show and get him later. I'm sorry for my son's behavior, Naruto-kun. He acts too much like his father in that regard, said Makoto with an icy sweet voice that seemed a little too sweet. Quite all right. If he gets out of hand, I'll slap the young punk back into line with these hands of mine, said Naruto as Asuka and Hanabi grabbed onto him with hearts in their eyes. Ka-san, let's go eat, before it gets cold, said Itachi, walking into the dining room. You're right, Itachi-kun. Yes, let's go eat, said Makoto, while inner Makoto was laughing out loud. Dinner was simple with light conversation, and it seemed that they only wanted to learn about Naruto. Tell us, Naruto-kun, how many women have you slept with? Asked Itachi, making all the girls blush and Naruto laugh. Itachi-san, I've only ever slept with 2 women, both senseis, but women nonetheless. They would be damned if they let me come back into this place innocent, said Naruto with a small laugh. I wonder what he means by senseis. To the best of our knowledge, no one has entered the tower since Naruto, thought Itachi, taking out a stick of poke. That's good, because, by the sounds I've heard coming from Asuka's room a while back, it sounds like Hanabi is quite good in bed, said Itachi as he ducked a kunai thrown by an extremely red Asuka. Hanabi had a large grin on her face, remembering the things they did a few days ago. Oh, she was getting wet just thinking about it. Itachi ni-san, what goes on in my room is none of your damn business, said an extremely red Asuka. I'm not worried, but with the sounds coming from the room at night sometimes you'll be doing quite a bit to them, Naruto-san, said Itachi with a smirk, looking at the two girls. I'll go get the dessert, said Makoto, walking into the kitchen. It was cake. Makoto took the bottle from her apron and poured some onto Naruto's cake and took it out to him. She made sure to give it to him before she retrieved the rest of the cakes. Everyone ate the cake, but Makoto paid special attention to Naruto, making sure he ate it all. Once it was all gone, Naruto smiled sweetly at Asuka and Hanabi. Asuka caught the smile with lust-filled eyes. Ka-san, Naruto-kun and Hanabi-chan are coming up to my room, said Asuka as she grabbed both Naruto and Hanabi's hands. Makoto smiled. Try not to make too much noise, dear, said Makoto as Itachi pulled out a book and began to read. Itachi sighed. It was going to be another long night. I wonder if Ayane-chan is on a mission, said Itachi. In Asuka's room, Asuka had a fairly strange room. Naruto saw a few straps on her queen-sized bed, handcuffs, chains on her blue walls. In one of the corners was a table that looked like it had seen use in the last few weeks. In another corner there was a small love seat. Naruto planned on putting all these things to use. Naruto was led to the bed by Asuka and was pushed onto it. Don't move. Hanabi and I are going to put on a small show for you. Feel free to jump in at any time, said Asuka, walking over to Hanabi. Makoto sat in her room, hearing the sound of her daughter getting a better fuck than she had in the last 2 years. She looked at the clock and saw that it was about 4:30 in the morning. This meant they had been at it for a little over 7 hours. If the kid could keep two girls who liked fucking as much as Asuka and Hanabi at bay like that, then he was a god in the sack. Why aren't those two girls out like lights yet? Damn, there go my plans for a good fuck tonight, thought Makoto before she laid herself down and went to sleep, thinking about what she would do to Naruto when she got him alone. Next morning, Asuka sat up in bed and yawned. She looked over and saw Naruto laying down with a hand on both Hanabi's and her asses. She smiled at him. He knew how to keep a woman satisfied, at least. She kissed both Hanabi and Naruto before she got up, feeling a bit of pain. It was well worth it for the pluri she got last night. Asuka walked over to her closet and grabbed a pair of black pants, a small red top that showed off her assets well, and a blue jacket with flames on the arms. Not that you don't look sexy wearing that stuff, but I'd much rather you be naked in bed, came Naruto's voice from the hall. He walked in wearing the same thing he had on yesterday, but with a straw hat as well. What, but you're in bed with Hanabi, said Asuka. Nah, a clone. I woke up about 5 minutes before you did and went to the bathroom and took a quick shower, said Naruto, looking at Asuka. That was a dirty trick, said a now awake Hanabi as she got out of the bed and pulled on her biker shorts, before grabbing the rest of her clothes and putting them on. Naruto pulled Asuka to him and gave her a kiss, and then he turned to Hanabi and kissed her. Both moaned in the kiss, hoping to get something more out of it, but nothing happened. We have people to meet today. I'm going to come with you guys, said Naruto, making his way out with an air of cool Sasuke and Itachi could only dream about, with the girls following him. Training Ground 7. Sakura Haruno was a proud girl. She was smart, had looks, and an attitude that made her one of the most undesired women, sorry girls in the whole village, next to her mother and the other whores in her family. Sure, she got good looks and was quite skilled in the field of genjutsu, but for the life of her all she could focus on was Sasuke. Her mother trained her to only obey and never question, until it was her time of power came. She was brought out of her thoughts as Sasuke walked into the field, followed by Hanabi, Asuka, and Naruto, who was walking on his hands and balancing Hanabi and Asuka on his feet. What the hell are you doing, Naruto? Asked Sakura as they both jumped off and Naruto started to do handstand push-ups while smiling. Loser, what are you doing? Asked Sasuke, trying to act cool, but was being beat out by Naruto with every push-up he did. Working out, Sasuke. It keeps me in shape and the ladies like the feel of these guns. My sensei, codenamed Iron Turtle, trained me in the ways of iron strength. Without my chakra I could rival Tsunade in raw strength, but she'd still beat my head into the dirt for fun any day of the week, said Naruto as he jumped up and spun into a stance. How about a full-out sparring match, said Sasuke pulling out a kunai and activating his Sharingan. Naruto shrugged and bit his thumb and swept his arm. Out of left arm came a set of nunchakus. It was a solid black still with a red tip, the chain on it was at least a good 18 inches long. Naruto pulled off some very flashy moves with it before settling into a style. It was a defense stance with a chaku in each hand. Seeing that he was ready, Sasuke charged. Sasuke brought the kunai up in a slash motion, but Naruto moved out the way and smashed the nunchakus into Sasuke's right leg, bringing him to the ground. Naruto rounded it off by using them to pull Sasuke into a choke hold. "Hello old man, you lookin' good," said Naruto, letting go of Sasuke and resealing his weapon. "Thank you Naruto-kun," said Sarutobi. "I didn't think any genin in this village had the balls to call you that, Pops," said the man with the cigarette. "Naruto isn't a genin, but he's amazingly strong. Oh here. This shows that you work for Konoha as a ninja ranked at genin captain, giving you the same commanding power as Chunin should the need arise," said Sarutobi, throwing Naruto a headband that was black. Naruto wrapped it around his belt so that it could be seen. Naruto tilted his hat. "I'm only doing this for you old man, anyone else would be dead," said Naruto, making many shiver. "Anyways, where is Kakashi?" asked Sasuke, looking around. "Kakashi had a mission, so you're going to be doing a joint mission with teams 8 and 10. Naruto Team 10 consists of Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akamina, Shikamaru Nara, led by my son Asuma. Team 8's members are Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Ibarama, led by Kurenai Yuhi," said Sarutobi, pointing to each of them respectfully. "A pleasure to meet you Asuma, Nai-chan, Ino-chan, Hinata-chan, Shika-san, Choji-san, Shino-san, Kiba-san," said Naruto, bowing. Naruto looked at them each before his eyes landed on Kiba. Kiba, thinking like a dog, instantly knew this guy was a threat. Kiba jumped up and charged at Naruto. Naruto easy flipped him and caught a dog in midair. Before he put his foot on Kiba's neck. "Honestly, why is it always the stupid ones who attack me? Is 5 minutes too much to ask for?" asked Naruto as Hinata laughed, only to stop at the look of rage on Kiba's face. Naruto noticed, but wouldn't say anything about it. He turned to the Hokage, who started to spec. "Asuma will be leading the mission. Your mission is to escort a woman named Millie to Steel Country. It's on our border and it's a C-ranked mission. I don't need to warn you about bandits, do I?" asked Sarutobi. "No Hokage-sama, we'll meet her at the gate in 1 hour. Everyone pack for a mission that will last for up to a month," said Kurenai as she left. Naruto in his wisdom just walked to the north gate and waited. He found a bench and quickly summoned a cello. He settled into play for the whole time no one was there. It started out slow, just like Tigra had taught him to play. This was the first song he learned under her watchful eye. Flashback 5 years ago. Naruto stood with Tigra practicing the instrument she was teaching him to. Naruto was having trouble and then he put it aside, before he caught a kick to the face. "I didn't tell you to stop playing, Naruto-kun," said Tigra. Naruto stood up and wiped his face. "What's the point? It won't help me in a fight and it won't protect my precious people," said Naruto. Tigra sighed, before she picked up the bow and looked at Naruto right in the eyes. "Naruto, anyone can stab someone in the heart and remove it from the body, but it takes a gifted person to move someone's heart while it's still there. The sooner you learn this, the sooner you master the cello," said Tigra. Naruto nodded before he continued to play. Flashback end. Naruto was so lost that he hadn't even realized a crowd had gathered to listen to this young man play his lovely song. Many children looked at him in awe, while the adults smiled at him. A 22-year-old woman especially. She stood at 5 feet 4 inches, short blue hair, black eyes, angelic face, wearing blue jean pants, a tan-colored coat, over a green shirt. When Naruto finished playing, people were clapping and a few of the younger children asked him to teach them to play. Naruto smiled at the young children before he narrowed his eyes. Naruto pushed a child out of the way and caught a shuriken in his fingers. The child looked at Naruto in awe. "Who the hell throw that weapon at a child?" asked Naruto, sealing away his cello, before cracking his knuckles. "I did, you brat," came the voice of Mizuki from a tree. His torso was wrapped in bandages and he looked to have a few burns on his face. Didn't I already kick your ass once for trying to hurt Hanabi-chan? Asked Naruto, glaring at the man who nearly injured a child. That was luck, so I challenge you to a Konoha showdown, said Mizuki, making many people gasp out loud, before he threw a punch at Naruto, who jumped back. What the fuck is a Konoha showdown? Anybody know what this prick is talking about? Asked Naruto, pulling off a handstand. It's basically a legal street battle called out when two ninja in the village have problems. I've had 3 of them so far and haven't lost one, said Asuma, appearing on the right side of Naruto. Can I decline his invent? Asked Naruto, looking to the left. Sorry kid, you can't. It's a matter of pride for the one who calls it. However, if your opponent calls it, you chooses the time and place, said Kurenai, becoming visible on his left. Alright, sundown. The day after I return from my mission, said Naruto, shrugging. If this moron wants to die so bad, then I'll just send him to his maker a lot faster, thought Naruto. See you in hell, brat, and say hello to the Reaper for me, said Mizuki before leaving. Not if you see him first, said Naruto. Hello everyone, my name is Millie and I need you to get me safely to Steel Country, said Millie in a dream-like voice. Hinata was a little mad. That bitch is rocking my hair color. My mom's hair color. Once this mission is over, I'm gutting her like a fish set for dinner, thought Hinata while smiling at Millie sweetly. She would bear a man good pups. What do you think, Hinata? Asked Kiba, looking at his girlfriend. Before Hinata could answer, Hanabi jumped in. What my sister sees in you is beyond me. You're with her and you should act like it, said Hanabi. I do act like a good boyfriend should, said Kiba. No you don't. A good boyfriend never compares his girlfriend to another woman even when she's not around. I would never do that to Nabi Haim or Asuka Haim. Though they're both incredible tight, said Naruto, making both girls blush. Mind you own damn business, prick, said Kiba, getting more and more pissed off. The families of my girls is my business, mud face, and don't forget it, said Naruto, using a cold glare that made Kiba back down. Let's go, said Sasuke, not wanting to hear any more about the man who slept with his sister, who kept him up half the night with fear moans and groans of pleasure. The next time a fangirl runs up to me, I'm knocking boots, thought Sasuke. They left out the gates with Millie walking next to Naruto, making Hanabi and Asuka look at them lustfully. Kiba was talking with Akamaru, Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji talked like the old friends they were. Sakura was trying to get Sasuke on a date, and Asuma was just looking at Kurenai, who just looked at him with a blank stare. Excuse me, Millie-chan, but you're from Steel Country, right? Asked Shino, who was in the trees. Yes, Aburama-san, said Millie. Do they have a hidden village in Steel? Asked Shino, adjusting his shades. Not to my knowledge. The village was allied with Konoha during the last war, but fell when a small army of Rock and Cloud ninja attacked it in the dead of night, leaving many dead. On-clan was said to still be alive and in the pocket of a warlord named Ikdo, said Millie. Wait, you don't mean Ikdo the Smoking Fist? Asked Asuma. Yes, the very same, said Millie. Nabi-chan, you would think someone like that is weak, but in truth he's almost as strong as a Sannin. Hell, he borders it. Here's a bit of a history lesson, kids. All villages have Anbu and specialized Anbu. For Konoha, that is the Roots division, now under the direction of the Hokage. Now the real lesson is that all villages have their versions of the Sannins. Mist had the SSS-1 until the Civil War about 10 years ago. Cloud have the Clear Sky Knights. They have 4 members. Rock has the Tombstone team, 5 guys, and Sand have the Black Sand Court 2, said Naruto, looking at them. How did you know that, loser? Asked Sasuke, glaring at Naruto. Because he studies, Sasuke. Something you should do from time to time, said Asuka. Before Sasuke could counter, Choji jumped in. I don't see what the big deal is. We don't have to fight these guys, said Choji, with Shikamaru and Ino nodding. See, Choji-san, I is righty, everyone. As long as we don't drew them to us, we should be fine, said Hinata, making Kiba angry that she talked. Normally yes, but you see, Ikdo is the former leader of the Old Guard 3 of the Tombstone team. About in his early to mid-50s. His age isn't the problem. He's said to have been able to fight Jiraiya of the Sannins to a draw while in his prime, said Naruto. How do you get this kind of info? Asked Sasuke, knowing for a fact it was impossible to get that kind of info while locked in a tower. Don't get ahead of yourself, Sasuke. All I know is that if it came down to a real fight with this guy I'd have problems beating him, said Naruto as he continued walking, leaving everyone on edge and a pissed off Sasuke. In Steel. In a dark room, a man sat with 4 people in front of him. She must be captured alive if possible. She is the key to all our plans, so move out and find her, but be warned she has Konoha's protection and they will lose their lives before you can get to her, said the man. Don't worry, Ikuto-sama. We know of your plans to get revenge against the new guard of Tombstone and we will be your instruments for their downfall, said the one on the far left, before they disappeared into the earth. The team was preparing camp for the night and Hanabi was with Hinata getting water. Hanabi and Hinata were close. When not on missions or at team training they go out and have fun. Their father was a kind man in private and acted like a ruthless tyrant in the clan and public eye. He always begged forgiveness and the girls always forgave him. They needed to keep it up until they could take down the Hyuga Council for good. It was their mother who came up with the plan, but she was watched closely by the council most of the time, especially the old perverted head councilman. Hanabi turned to her sister and looked at her. Hinata had changed since she started going out with Kiba. Instead of loose baggy cloths that she used to wear now, it was all skin tight, showing off her figure. The shirt only stopped around her stomach and she wore shorts that stopped at the upper thigh. Hinata, what happened to you? What happened to the woman I looked up to? You've become a different person from who you once were, said Hanabi, looking at her sister with worry. Hinata nearly dropped her katana in the water before she turned to look at her sister. Nothing, little sister. It's just that I wanted to change my look a bit, said Hinata, lying through her teeth. Hanabi had always had patience with her sister after years of bonding, but even that ran out at times. This was one of those times. Hanabi ran up and slugged Hinata right in the left side of her face. Not enough to bruise, but enough to hurt like a bitch. Hinata got up and wiped her face only to get a kick to the gut, laying her right back on the ground. Hanabi jumped onto Hinata and held her hands above her head to stop her from fighting back. Hinata may have had the skill of the two, but Hanabi had the strength of the two. What the hell's your problem, Hanabi? Yelled Hinata, losing her stutter in seconds and replaced by fury. No, what's your problem, Hinata? Ever since you started dating Kiba you've become someone who's as submissive as a slave. I've known you my whole life and you were never submissive before, always the top of everything. Now look at you, you're acting weak, yelled Hanabi as Hinata started to cry. Hanabi saw fire in her eyes, and not just any fire. It was the famous Hyuga beyond pissed fire. That motherfucker, he's going to pay and I'm the one who calling on it, thought Hanabi as she grabbed Hinata's hand and started to head back to the camp. With the others, Kiba was eyeing Millie, who was talking with Naruto and Asuka. He wanted to fuck a girl so bad. Maybe tonight he would pull Hinata into his bed and have his way with her until she could barely walk, then take Millie without anyone being the wiser. He knew Hinata was a virgin and he wanted to take it from her. He was about to ask Ino a favor when he felt an enemy approach him. He turned around only to get hit in the eye by Hanabi. That was going to leave a shiner later on. Bitch, what do you think you're doing? Yelled Kiba. Kiba was enraged, not only at Hanabi, but at Hinata as well. I warned that bitch not to say anything, now I'm going to really let her have it when this is over, thought Kiba, jumping out of the way of Hanabi's palm that hit the ground and destroyed several plants in the area. Asuka activated her Sharingan and jumped at Kiba. Kiba was so busy with Hanabi that he missed her. Asuka kicked Kiba in the back. They both jumped on a branch and got into their respective clan styles. While it was a known fact they were a couple, it was an even bigger fact that they were an unstoppable team, and even a team of Chunin were hard-pressed to beat team. Naruto, not liking where this was going, slammed his foot into the ground, twisted it a bit, and covered the 3 of them in earth. One of you 3 start talking, because I'm not in the mood to hear you fighting and we still have a mission to do, said Naruto sternly. What was that? Asked Sasuke, trying to figure it out. The jutsu Naruto just used. Earth style. Semi-prison jutsu. Now Kiba-san, start off if you don't mind, said Naruto, looking at him. How should I know? These 2 crazy bitches just attacked me, said Kiba, only to catch a punch to the jaw from Naruto. Call them that again and I'll kill you, innocent or not, said Naruto, tapping Kiba's jaw with his fist. Hanabi, if you don't mind, said Naruto. Hold on, my little firecracker. Hinata, is this true? asked Naruto looking at Hinata. Yes. It's true. I didn't want to say anything for fear of what he might do to not only me, but my sister and Asuka, said Hinata looking down and not see the anger in Kiba's eyes. That's not true, she begged me to let her suck me off, said Kiba knowing that he was busted. If one of those mind walkers did that. We'll let a Yamanaka decide that later, Kiba. We have company now, said Asuma taking out his knuckle dusters. Naruto released Asuka, Hanabi, and Kiba. All the genins except Naruto got in front of Millie. Naruto pulled off his haori and removed his hat and got into a fighting style. From the trees 4 people came down. The one on the far left was a woman wearing a black dress with pull-on sleeves, brown hair pulled into 2 braids. Next was a large man wearing only green pants and had a large double sword in his hand. Next to him was a man in a white gi and pants with a pike over his shoulder. Last was a man with a small build, and wore a full ninja robe. Hello there. We're the guard of Ikto-sama, the future ruler of Steel Country. I'm Kai, said the man with the pike over his shoulder. Armstrong, said the large man. Kagura, said the lady pulling out some kunai. I have no name, but you may call me Shadow, said the last man. I got dibs on Kai, said Naruto summoning a black sword that had a red hilt and was double-edged. It looked like nothing special, unless you counted the small white seal on the hilt. Are you out your mind, kid? That guy's at least Jonin, said Kurenai. Maybe you haven't heard Kurenai-chan, but I've beaten a team of Root Anbu without breaking a sweat. I'm sure a lone Jonin level nin is nothing to me. I like him. Kai, make sure you don't kill him, I want to have some fun later, said Kagura licking her lips. Very well, dear sister, but kept your screams of pleasure down. I do like to sleep after all, said Kai. The bitch is ours, everyone else just handle the rest, said Asuka, Hanabi stepping up with her. Brave words. I like playing with girls as well, but you're not my type. The Hyuga girl on the other hand is just right, said Kagura jumping off with Hanabi and Asuka following. I guess I'll take on Kurenai. After all, it was my dream to take on one of the top 20 masters of genjutsu in the world, said Shadow. Glad to know I'm one of the best, said Kurenai as they both vanished. It's been a while since I've killed anyone with such high a bounty on their heads. Asuma the Quick, said Armstrong as he tackled Asuma into the woods. Well, that just leaves me and you, said Kai spinning his pike. Yeah, such a shame. Let's get this over with. I have boots to knock later, said Naruto charging. Confident little runt, said Kai charging as well. They clashed in the middle trying to outpower each other. Naruto pushed with all his might, but Kai pushed just as hard. Sparks started to fly and the 2 ninjas glared at each other. Kai jumped back and started a few hand signs. Hare, dragon, bird, monkey, ox, boar, rat. Fire style. Fire spin jutsu, said Kai twisting around and aiming for Naruto. Naruto pulled his sword back and thrust it forward. Wind style. Phantom crush jutsu. Yelled Naruto as a large fist of wind shot out of his blade and slammed into the fire, stopping it. I see. You overloaded your jutsu with chakra and stopped my attack. Clever for one so young, said Kai. I'm more than clever, I'm skilled, said Naruto. What should I call one so skilled? Asked Kai as he was about to charge. Call me the 5th guardian, said Naruto putting the sword above his head ready for a real fight. With Naruto and Kai stared each other down as if sizing the other up before in a flash they appeared on the other side of each other. Both sporting a cut on their clothes. Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, Ino, Hinata, Sakura, Kiba, and Sasuke all looked at the 2 dumbfounded. No one ever saw them move. It was as if they used a replacement jutsu and appeared where the other was to be. Everyone back up and make sure Millie-san is all right, said Shikamaru taking command. Shikamaru, what's gotten into you? Asked Choji looking at the 2 who seemed to be statues. Yeah, you never act like this, said Ino. This is about to be a battle between 2 high-level ninja and I personally don't want to die in the crossfire, said Shikamaru as everyone moved back. Kai spun around and vanished. To anyone else he was just gone, but to Naruto he was moving at a slow pace. Naruto used his sword to block the pike that was aimed for his heart. Naruto lashed out with a kick that caught Kai in the ribs. Kai jumped back and glared at Naruto. Naruto charged forward and started to attack Kai. Both attacked the other with great power, but both dodged the other's attack, and went in for a counter a second later. Kai and Naruto both ran parallel to each other and jumped into the air with weapons clashing and sparks flying. Kai pushed Naruto back with his strength, grabbed him by his leg and threw him to the ground. Kai came down ready for the death blow only for Naruto to throw his sword and force Kai to block. Naruto followed that up with a haymaker that would have made his senseis proud. This kid is good, but I'm better, thought Kai. Kai was back on the attack and was looking for a kill. By this time Naruto had recovered his sword and was ready for round 2, but Kai moved past him, spun around on his feet and aimed his pike at Naruto. Naruto felt a build-up of chakra that could be used for at least 2 A-ranked attacks. Goodbye Guardian, lightning style, land destroyer jutsu, yelled Kai as a mass of lightning formed into a ball and launched itself at Naruto. Wind style, dragon strike, said Naruto as he slashed and a large amount of wind came out of the blade. It collided with the lightning, but instead of dispersing it, the lightning was turned around and flew at Kai. Kai jumped into the air only to fall for Naruto's trap. Naruto jumped into the air and slammed his blade into Kai's back, making him yell out in pain before he jumped back and whilst loudly. The other appeared and looked rather pissed at Kai. Kai-ni-san, I was just starting to face fun, said Kagura as Hanabi came out with pure hate on her face along with Asuka, who was equally pissed off. I can say that I really enjoyed it too, said Kagura. Shadow and I had a bit of trouble with those two Jonin. We should report back to Ikto-sama and tell him what happened here, said Armstrong. Yes, don't worry Guardian, we'll have our rematch soon and next time you won't walk away, said Kai as they took off into the forest with Asuma and Kurenai appearing ready to give chase. Stop, that's what they want us to do. The fights didn't last long. They were more like tests, than a real battle, said Naruto, closing his eyes and making his sword disappear. Hold on, are you saying they were messing with us? Asked Sasuke. No, only the strongest fighters here, said Kurenai, biting her bottom lip. A habit she got from her late father. Right, let's just sit down and talk, said Naruto as everyone sat down. Naruto, I have to ask you this, these senseis of yours, are they alive? Asked Asuma. Not all of them, only one is, and she's in hiding right now, said Naruto. Why would she be in hiding? Asked Sakura. Because the thing that got my other 3 senseis is going after her. They all died a year ago. I told her to hide and I would find her when I could. Unfortunately, the one after her has to destroy all the guardians, meaning I'm one person at the top of their black list, said Naruto looking at Sakura. Who else is on this list? Asked Kurenai looking at Naruto. I can't tell you. I've already put everyone here in danger, because this monster is playing for keeps, and if you're not ready to die then you'd better not ask, said Naruto, walking off into the woods. Guess that means the conversation is over, said Millie, walking into her tent. Hanabi-chan, I'm going to go talk to him, said Asuka, standing up. No, you're not. As your elder brother I forbid it, said Sasuke. You can't stop her, and if you try I'll make sure you never give Makoto-san grandkids, said Hanabi as Sasuke pales. Go get him. Be sure you don't scream too loud, said Hanabi, kissing Asuka and slapping her ass before she walked off. With Naruto. Damn, I let too much slip out. I have to be more careful in the near future. I have to, or else he'll find her, and I can't let that happen, thought Naruto as Asuka walked up behind. Hey Naruto-kun, said Asuka with a small smile on her face. Hey Asuka-chan, said Naruto, smiling back at her. Thank you Asuka-chan, said Naruto after nearly an hour in the embrace. Anytime Naruto-kun, I love you and I will do anything to help you. If it's within my power, hell even beyond that, I'll help you, said Asuka as she leaned up and kissed him. They walked back to camp, but on the way Naruto noticed that Asuka was sticking rather close to him. Naruto smiled and pulled her closer. This made her jump a little and Naruto laugh a bit. She hit him on the air and just glared at him. You don't like the dark, do you? Asked Naruto, making her blush. No Naruto-kun, I've never been afraid of the dark, only of what it hides, said Asuka, making Naruto laugh. That was something Byako-sensei told me once when I was first put in that damn tower, said Naruto. Who is that Naruto-kun? Asked Asuka. Even though she loved him, they had only known each other for a while and she wanted to know more about him. Byako-sensei was as wild as they came. She was a free spirit and a kind person. She taught me how to play several instruments. She loved playing tricks and just life in general. I could never forget her even if I died, said Naruto as they continued to walk. To remember a loved one is the best gift they could ever get, even in death, said Asuka as she walked into her tent with Hanabi. Naruto looked at the stars and a grin came across his face before he pulled out a scroll. The scroll was blue and held the kanji for guardians on it. With the team from Konoha, Hanabi awoke to the sounds of flesh hitting wood. She looked to Teehee's side and saw Asuka asleep on her left with a small smile on her face. Hanabi smiled and kissed her on the forehead, before getting up and walking outside. When she got there she saw Naruto without his usual cloths on and just his pants hitting a tree with his fists. It was strange to Hanabi to see someone work so hard. Sure, she knew of the boy with no chakra who worked hard, but the things Naruto were doing was unreal. There was hardly a second between the punches. "Did I wake you, Nabi-chan?" asked Naruto, jumping up and kicking the tree, leaving a large dent in it. Naruto-kun. What are you doing anyway?" asked Hanabi. Naruto hit the tree a few more times with harder hits, before he jumped away and it turned to dust. Hanabi's mouth was hanging open. What Naruto had just done was unreal. Sure, Tsunade of the Sannin could do something like that with no problems, but for Naruto to do it only made her feel slightly aroused. To be a fighter is to understand that your body is a weapon and that things like kunai are just extensions of one's body, said Naruto, making Hanabi go nod her head in understanding. That's an excellent explanation for a genin, said Asuma. Remember, Asuma-san, I was trained by some of the best. That also means they took to teaching me life lessons, said Naruto. Hanabi turned around to see that everyone was awake. Hiba looked pissed, while everyone else looked at Naruto in awe. It wasn't every day that someone said something so well thought out. Good, now that everyone's here you can all sit down as this is going to take some explanation. Asuka-chan and Hanabi-chan, I want you two to become guardians, said Naruto, sitting down. What? Yelled all present. The potential they held was large and even then it was said that they would never reach the peak of power. Clam down. Before they can be guardians they have to first hear of the history and then accept. If they don't want to, they'll know the story and will become acolytes at best. Hold all questions until the end. The history of the Guardians is one of blood and sacrifice dating back to over 4,000 years, before the end of the last world. The Guardians were acolytes of the Laots order. Their names were Seryu the Azure Dragon of the East, Suzaku the Vermilion Bird of the South, Byako the White Tiger of the West, and Genbu the Black Tortoise of the North. Each was a prodigy of the order in their own right. After years of training in the arts of Kai and the elements, they became the heads of the order and worked to destroy all evil in the world. They were close to their goal, until a foolish man who wanted nothing but power. This madman made a deal with the Archpriest of Destruction and the Demon Slifer of Red Storm. Their powers merged and mixed until they became one being. The Guardians felt a shift in the balance of power and prepared for war. The Great Wars, as they were later called, were not to be brought to the public eyes or ears, for then it would reach the Emperor's ears. However, 100 years later it reached the ears of a grandson of the original Emperor. He ordered a full army to find and destroy every shadow of the Dark One, as he was later known as. Soon the world was split between the Dark One, the Empire, and the Lotus Order. A year after that, the Dark One started some real power plays. He started to attack temples, towns, and major cities, which all held Lotus agents, and for if you were a woman you were as good as a slaves and children were treated no better. The Guardians recalled all agents to the main temple for a last stand. Just before that, another warrior appeared. He called himself Uzumaki the Twilight Fox. When Uzumaki appeared, he began a battle with the Dark One that let the Guardians and Lotus members battle the shadows. Soon the Dark One was forced into a corner by the Guardians and Uzumaki. Somehow, though, a combined seal and the power of the 4 Guardians and the 5th warrior, they sealed the Dark One away. After that, the Lotus scattered across the elemental nations and lay in wait until they were needed again. The Guardians also asked Uzumaki to join the order as leader and 5th Guardian. Uzumaki declined and said that he and his family would always be there as the 5th to fight if the Lotus and the Guardians ever needed help, said Naruto. That's all well and good, but what the hell does this have to do with Hanabi and Asuka? Asked Kurenai, looking at Naruto with interest in his story. He seemed just a tad bit different than most people she knew. Easy, both have signs to become guardians and powerful ones at that. Hanabi the Azura Dragon of the East and Asuka the White Tiger of the West, said Naruto, pointing to both girls and telling them that. Why them and not anyone else? I could do a better job than my sister, said Sasuke, thinking of what he could do with power like that. Only one who is on the path of true benevolence can claim the seat of the dragon, and only one who is on the path of true righteousness may claim the seat as tiger, said Naruto. Okay, that's all well and good, but what of this training you have first, Naruto-kun? Asked Hanabi, laying her head in Asuka's lap. I can't reveal it to you yet. Anyway, let's get to the nearest town and gather info on Ikto and his little group, said Naruto as they packed up and started to walk on the road. It was around midday when they stopped in a field for a little training. Sasuke walked off and Sakura followed like the little horse she was. Everyone else settled into their normal stances while Naruto, Kurenai, Asuma, and Millie looked on. Naruto served the group and instantly he noticed that 3 people could become the acolytes of the Panther. Ino was the first of them. She had the grace and a little more to it than that. Shikamaru was another. He seemed to have a tactical mind and a little more bravery than he looked like he had, but it seemed that he never tried unless it was an absolute need to. The last was Hinata. Like Hanabi, she had potential to become a guardian, but she had a small problem with confidence. Just as they were about to call it a day, Sasuke came flying from the tree line and skidded to a halt. Sakura came next and landed on her back, letting out a low moan of pain, before standing up. Out of the trees came 2 people. They both wore white battle clothes, and black sleeves. The one on the left was a girl with a very petite body, standing at 5 feet 3 inches. She looked around 14, a average B-cup-sized chest, simple eyes much like that of the Hyuga, but she seemed blind. On her head was a green and yellow bandana that was tied in her bushy hair. She stood in the stance of the southern mantis. The other was a young man of 17, he stood at 5 feet 9 inches, had a burn mark on the left side of his face, and he stood in the stance of the Shaolin teachings. Brother Zuko, Sister Toph, stand down now, one, said Naruto, making both bow. We're sorry, Lord Naruto, but he was trespassing near the temple and you, said Toph, looking down. Naruto walked forward with a stern look on his face before he grabbed Toph by her waist, spun her around and threw her in the air, making her shriek with joy, before catching her in a spinning hug, which she gladly returned before kissing him full on the lips. Hanabi and Asuka both saw this and smirked a bit. Sure, they didn't like it, but hey, if it meant another girl to play with, then it was alright with them. Toph let go and Zuko walked up and was pulled into a one-armed hug. It's good to see you again, Naruto-sama, said Zuko. Everyone looked at Naruto. Again, they asked, looking bewildered. Naruto shrugged. I may have been locked in the tower, but there are ways to get out without opening the front door. Hell, if it had hit the 10-year mark staying there, I was going to disappear, said Naruto as Toph jumped on his back. Naruto-kun, master has been waiting a few years for you to return to the temple, said Toph. She's right. He said it would be wise to seek out the fox, said Zuko. I'll go to your master once our mission is all. This young girl Millie needs protectors, said Naruto, nodding to Millie, who nodded back. Just as Toph and Zuko were about to leave, Sasuke opened his mouth. Dobi, you never did say what the Dark One's name was, said Sasuke, trying to act cool. Instantly Toph spun around and slammed her foot into the ground, making a large chunk of earth come out and throw it at Sasuke. Sasuke used a fire jutsu only for it to be turned back on him by Zuko. It looked like the attacks were going to impact until a large shield of wind and water blocked it out. Everyone turned and saw Naruto with an angered look on his face. Zuko. Toph, he didn't know the rules. Everyone listen up, cause I'm only going to telephone you this once. His name is one of the first ever to be written in the dark text. Everyone in the order has seen his name, but upon seeing it you make a vow of right and never speak his name. The Guardians are the only exception to the rule, but we hold to it as well, said Naruto, dropping the shields. Why is that, Naruto? Asked Choji, taking out a bag of chips. If a leader is to lead, then he must do as his follows do. That's rule number 34 of the shinobi life, said Sakura, acting smart in front of Sasuke and show Ino up. You're right, Sakura-san, but the louts don't expect anything of us, but as a guardian you must understand that you must show some level of responsibility, said Naruto. We should go. Come on, Toph, said Zuko, jumping into the woods. Toph ran up to Naruto and gave him a short yet sweet kiss, before disappearing into the ground. You have some explaining to do, said Asuka, holding a coy smile on her lips. Cammy, am I cursed to have some of the best girls around me at the worst damn times? Thought Naruto as Asuka and Hanabi fired off their questions. With Ikto, his 4 warriors had just given their reports and he seemed to be a little on edge. Must disturbing news. They will be in town soon, so I shall wait for them, said Ikto as he walked to a room that was full of girls only about 12 to 19 years old. All of them crying and backing up as he came into the room. Who's first tonight? Asked Ikto as he closed the door and locked it. All right, it's a bit slow around. I also redid this chapter twice before I put it. I really wanted to give you some background on the Guardians, so I thought up one. I also wanted to give you a reason to truly hate the Ikto. With the team, the group had just walked into a village that appeared to be run down, but still people lived, if only by a tread. All the shops looked empty. On some corners stood women and men just doing things in public that would get you arrested in Konoha. Some on the women seemed to be as young as 12. Everyone except Naruto, Kurenai, Millie and Asuma were shocked by this. Hanabi, Asuka, Ino, Sakura, and Hinata were on the verge of tears. I thought Wave Country was bad, but this, said Sakura. This is what you get when you take away the sheltered lives you've lived. This is what happens to the world when people with money and influence rule. This is the real world that you are only barely seeing for the first time. Even Wave wasn't this bad. You never want to see the true hell of this world, said Naruto, looking at the sky with pain in his eyes. Why is that, Naruto-san? Asked Shino, raising an eyebrow to him. What could be so bad that he has pain in his eyes like that? Thought Ino. Naruto was brought out of his daze as he felt someone tap his shoulder. He looked to see that it was Asuka who had done it. Nodding to her, he led them to the closet inn. Once inside, they saw a rather fat man with a magazine in his hat. He looked up and his eyes turned lustful as they fell upon the girls. Welcome to my inn. How long do you plan on staying, good folks? Asked the man. 1 night and half a day if need be, said Naruto as the others looked at him. Okay, but for the black-haired girl with white eyes I'll put you up for a week, said the man. Naruto sighed before he grabbed the man's head and slammed it into the table, before lifting it and forcing the man to look into his eyes. The man was bleeding from his mouth and nose rather bad. You care to repeat that to my girl Bubba Thick? Asked Naruto, making everyone look at him in surprise. The man shook his head. What I was trying to say is that the rooms are on the house for you guys, said the man, looking at Naruto in fear. That's what I thought you said, Bubba, said Naruto, slamming his head down 2 more times. Now you're going to answer some questions and be quick about her. My other girl Asuka is going to play Burn It Up and you're going to the instrument with a new fire jutsu. What do you want to know, sir? Asked Bubba. He may have been a coward, but he'd be a live coward. Why is Ikto after a ragtag band of Konoha ninjas, knowing that he just made himself a target for the village bingo books by attacking the major clan heirs? Asked Naruto. I don't know what you're talking about. Who the hell is Ikto? Said the man, only for Naruto to broke his arm in 3 places and then his fingers, before dislocating it. He let out a painful scream that made Kiba nearly wet himself. Hell, that could have been me, thought Kiba, thinking about apologizing to Hinata out of fear. You want to run that by me again, Bubba, or do I have to break all the bones you got, starting with your fingers? Asked Naruto, grabbing the other arm. Damn, this kid is worse than Ibiki Enko on a bad day, and that's saying something in itself, thought Asuma and Kurenai. I'm going to have fun with my little Naruto-chan tonight. Watching him work like this is making me so horny, one thought Hanabi. Alright. Rumor has it that Ikto made a deal with a powerful Yakuza lord in order to get the funding to start a war with the new guard of the Tombstone team. Only his plan backfired and he started a small war with the Yakuza gang. Within a week, most of the gang was dead except with the leader and his top lieutenants. Some of the other living members said he had a lovely blue-haired girl. Ikto put a price on her head and it was doubled if she was still a virgin. Looks like you have her and another from the looks of it, said the man with a disappointed sigh. That's all we needed, said Naruto as he took a kunai and slammed it into the monk's mouth, killing him instantly. What the hell are you doing, Baka? That man may have been a bastard, but you didn't have to kill him, said Sakura, marching up to Naruto like she was the only authority that mattered in this. Naruto looked at the girl before he did something that no one thought he would. He slapped her hard. Sakura fell down and then looked at Naruto with shock in her green eyes. Hanabi and Asuka looked on in anger. Sakura may be a bitch at times, but she was still a fellow ninja. Ino looked ready to attack, while everyone else looked on in suspense. Sakura started to cry and looked down. She felt an hand on her cheek and looked up to see Naruto's hand. Why? Asked Sakura. Everyone understood what she meant when she said that one simple word. Why was he taking the time to explain all this to a foolish little girl who wanted to act like a spoiled child? Naruto just smiled. Because once upon a time you were my best friend and I was hoping we could become friends again, Sakura-chan, said Naruto as Sakura threw herself into his arms and started to cry into his shoulder. I never deserved a friend like you, Naruto. Look at how horrible I've been to you lately and you want to be my friend, said Sakura, crying harder. Naruto just let her cry into his shoulder. That's all in the past now. And I'll be your friend if you want, said Naruto before Sakura nodded. You know, as sweet as this is, you're hugging our boyfriend and we'd like him back now, said Hanabi as Sakura let go. Everyone take a room. Hanabi, Ino, Asuka, Sakura, Hinata, and Kurenai-sensei share a room tonight, said Naruto. What? Yelled everyone else. Easy. This will solve our current problem with Kiba for now, and if something happens I won't be caught with my pants down. Literally, said Naruto, making all the girls blush. All right, Naruto, you and me got first watch, said Asuma as he used a fire jutsu to destroy the body. Later that night, Naruto sat at the front desk under a genjutsu of a middle-aged man with his sword next to him and Asuma hid near the stairs. It was nearing 9 p.m. when a group of 5 people walked in. The 4 in the back Naruto remembered as Ikuto's goons. The last one must have been Ikuto himself. He didn't look a day over 50, more like 45. His hair was starting to gray in some places. He had black eyes, a 6 feet 9 inches frame, wearing a gray and green noble kimono. What can I do for you, sir? Asked Naruto, letting Asuma to get the others ready for a fight. Earlier today a young whore came to us and told us that a band of Konoha nins came in here. They have a blue-haired girl with them. Maybe 2. I need that girl to make a deal with the Yakuza leader of Steel, said Ikuto. Sorry man, I just got in. I wouldn't know if they're still here or not, said Naruto smoothly. Such a shame. I heard he had many lovely girls with him. I wanted them to scream out in pain like that one girl wearing temple robes, before she escaped. What was her name? Azul, said Ikuto, trying to remember her name. Naruto's eyes widened. Azula, said Naruto in barely a whisper. Yes, that was her name. She kept screaming the name of that man called the Guardian who would avenge her. Hum. All in all it was quite fun for me. How tight she was, said Ikuto with a smirk. Naruto narrowed his eyes before he jumped across the desk and slugged Ikuto in his face. You sick bastard. She was only 12 years old. Just a little girl, not even a temple warrior. I'm going to make you suffer for what you did to her. And for the record, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, finished Naruto in a low whisper that promised pain. Ikuto stood up and glared at Naruto. He removed his kimono, showing that his body was all muscle. On his arms were 2 green arm braces, black pants, and shinobi boots. No words were needed as Ikuto tackled Naruto right through the wall and into a small river bank. Ikuto-sama, said Armstrong, only to be hit with an uppercut from Asuma. Round Duce, big man, said Asuma. Just as Kagura was about to run away, Hinata, Asuka, and Hanabi surrounded her. Kagura got into a light stance and was prepared for a battle. Shadow prepared to use a mass genjutsu to cover their escape, but was blocked by a counter jutsu. He was about to counterattack her only for a shadow to stop him, and 2 fists collided with his face that sent him flying right after Shikamaru let the shadow go. Kai readied his pike. This is turning into a real pain, said Kai as flaming rocks made their way towards him. Kai used his pike to destroy the rocks only to have a flaming fist collide with his gut, sending his back into the wall. He then jumped out the way as another boulder came at him. He jumped out the front door only to be met with a powerful arm thrust curtsy of Toph. "You're not going anywhere, bub. At least not until we're done kicking your ass," said Toph, spitting at his feet and getting into a stance. "Little girls should know their place in the world of men," said Kai, only to have a knee connect with his back. "Same for you, criminal," said Zuko, getting into his restive style with a pair of broadswords in his hands. With Naruto and Ikko, Naruto had kicked Ikko off him as soon as they landed in the river back and summoned his shields. Ikko stood up and his arms turned smoke-like. Ikko the Smoking Fist was not just an old nickname of mine, but an old ability that made me feared even amongst the cages, said Ikko. "You talk too damn much," said Naruto, charging at Ikko. Ikko braced himself as Naruto slammed one of the shields into his chest, followed by a powerful kick to the head. The kick never landed as Ikko grabbed Naruto's leg and slammed him into the water before jumping back and starting a few hand signs. "Fire style. Flaming wheel jutsu," said Ikko as he started to spin as red flames shot from his body and turned him into a moving ball of fire. Ikko came at Naruto only for Naruto to bring up both shields and throw him off. Naruto followed this up by banishing his right shield and summoning his sword. "Ha ha 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 ha. Where there's smoke there's fire," said Ikko, charging Naruto with his arms ablaze. Naruto slipped over a hard swing with a side flip and slashed at Ikko's outright arm. When Naruto landed, he caught a fist to the face. Ikko had recreated his arm from nothing but flames. Naruto stood up and slammed his feet into the ground, turning it to sand. Naruto then forced the sand to rise up and hit both Ikko's arms, snuffing the flames out. Ikko then smirked at Naruto as only smoke remained. "Bad guys smirking is never a good thing," thought Naruto. Ikko jumped up and threw a punch out. Normally this was not done, but the arm itself turned to smoke, then started flying at Naruto. Naruto brought the shield up to block, only for the fist to smash thought and hit Naruto in the face. Naruto's shield vanished. Naruto rolled a bit as he hit the ground. Ikko then landed next to Naruto and kicked his sword away before stepping on his chest with enough force to crush a few ribs. Naruto let out a silent scream of pain. "What's the matter, punk? You started this little game and you're not even trying to put up a decent fight. Maybe after I get you fighting I'm making all your little britches scream my name. Hell, I'll make the Hyugas beg for it after I'm though with the Uchiha girl," said Ikko, picking up Naruto and preparing to punch him full force, only for Naruto to catch his in a vice-like grip before pulling his whole body up and forcing Ikko to the ground, before jumping back. "I was holding back, but now I'm taking you out with everything I got," said Naruto as Ikko jumped up. Ikko rushed Naruto and threw a series of power punches that Naruto dodged, blocked, countered, or reversed. Naruto then pushed Ikko back with a powerhouse round kick. "If insulting that dead slut and threatening those girls made you fight like this, I wonder how hard you would fight if I actually took them," said Ikko with a smirk. Naruto's eyes widened in rage at this made man. "Rat, ram, tiger, horse, ox, rat, bird, boar, wind and water fusion style, great ice tomb jutsu," yelled Naruto, forcing most of the river to turn to ice. Ikko jumped away only for the water coming off him to leave a small trail for the ice to follow. "Fire style. Wrath of the Dragon jutsu," said Ikko, firing a massive blast of fire from him mouth. Naruto jumped out of the way and grabbed up his sword. "Fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu," said Ikko, firing off about 40 small balls of fire at Naruto. Naruto used his sword to knock them all away. "Wind style. Uzumaki rush," said Naruto, rushing at Ikko with after images appearing behind him and then around him. Ikko was surrounded, but prepared for the worst. He turned in time to stop Naruto from cutting him in two, but realized it was an after image and was cut in half, only to turn into smoke, move away and come back together with a laugh. "Don't you get it, kid? I'm too tough to be brought down with a simple swing of the sword. I'm in VC." Whatever he was about to say was stopped as a gash appeared where he was cut and Naruto had blood on his blade. "You're right. A simple blade can't harm you, but a blade of wind can destroy you," said Naruto in a cold tone. "It will take a lot more than a sword to kill me," yelled Ikko, launching his fist at Naruto only for Naruto to turn slightly and then cut it off. "Remember, you bought this on yourself, Ikko the Smoking Fist, for hurting her. This is for Azula, you piece of scum," said Naruto with his back to Ikko. Ito grabbed his arm and then took out a few kunai and threw them at Naruto only to be cut in half. Ito then launched a few fire jutsu at Naruto only for him to move out the way. Naruto then ran past Ito and held his sword out. Naruto turned the sword so slightly that you could see blood on it. Ito let out the most horrible scream you could only hear in nightmares. He then fell into the river making it red. Naruto looked at the man as he lay there in pain, barely alive. How? Was the only word Ito said to Naruto. Only the Reaper will give you an answer, said Naruto before he took his head in one clean motion. No one ever saw the lone tear run down Naruto's face. Back in the INN. Naruto walked back in with a scroll in hand. He looked around and saw Asuka Hanabi, and Hinata standing near Kagura with all her cloths stripped off and moaning like crazy, Shadow and Armstrong bound by cutting wire, and Kai on the floor dead with Zuko holding his pike over his shoulder. Need I ask why she's naked and moaning? Asked Naruto, shaking his head. Hinata and Hanabi managed to paralyze her, while Asuka hit her with a strong genjutsu. I don't know what she's seeing, but it must be good to have her moaning like that, said Kurenai with a blush. You know your mission is over as of now. I'll have my father transfer the funds for an A-ranked mission, said Millie. This is fucking Wave all over again, said Asuka, making everyone laugh. We'll head out in the morning, but for now I need to talk with Toph and Zuko, said Naruto, leading them to a private room. Once in the room, Naruto bolted the door shut and looked at Zuko. Stop it, it was never your fault. I should have never let her go on that mission alone. Maybe Master would have, started Zuko. Enough, you two. The only one who was ever at fault was Ito, and he's dead, said Toph, standing up. You're right. Now what are you two doing here? Asked Naruto. Toph opened her robe slightly and grabbed a scroll. It's from Master, said Toph. Naruto grabbed it and opened it. Uzumaki-sama, we would like you to come to a meeting of the Master Lotuses and Grand Louts of this region in 2 days. Toph and Zuko will escort your party here. Iroh. P.S. Next time you come in this area, stay for a game of shogi and for some of my famous green tea. Naruto smiled. That was just like Iroh to put something like that in a letter. We'll leave early tomorrow, said Naruto. Toph and Zuko nodded before they left the room, and Naruto to his thoughts. Another council meeting. I hate those things, thought Naruto as Asuka and Hanabi walked in with smiles and leather on. And it's also going to be a long night. In the woods. The group from Konoha had been walking for nearly 9 hours and they were getting tired, but a Cretan Uchiha male was getting annoyed at Zuko, Toph, and Naruto. He got a sly grin on his face as he went through hand signs. Fire style. Grand Fireball Jutsu, said Sasuke, putting his left hand in front of his mouth and launching a large ball of fire at Naruto. The others jumped out the way. Naruto-kun, watch out, yelled Asuka as the fireball rushed towards Naruto. Naruto stood still. Just as the fireball was about to hit him, Zuko jumped in the way and kicked the fire away, before launching a ball at Sasuke from his left fist. Sasuke barely had time to launch another fireball at Zuko, but it was stopped by a wall springing up from the ground, stopping both attacks. Everyone turned to Naruto, who looked calm as ever, but was in a fighting style that no one could comprehend. Sasuke glared at Naruto because of the level of power that he displayed. Enough, Zuko. There is no need to start a fight here. Sasuke, next time I'm going to fry your ass personally. I'm nowhere near as nice as Zuko is. So you'd better remember it, said Naruto, glaring back at Sasuke with what appeared to be purple eyes. No one could be sure that they were purple as it was only a second. Everyone backed up as they saw a massive flame cover Naruto with bits of black and white chakra mixed into the flames. Azula is not dead, you stupid fuck, and if you ever say something like that again I'll kill you in seconds. Blood kin to Asuka or not, said Naruto as the fire died down. Come, we don't have that much further to go. I haven't seen him like that in a while, said Toph, looking down. I don't want to be rude, but when was she, you know? Asked Asuka, looking at Toph, who lowered her head. I can't answer that, only Naruto and Azula can, said Toph, walking up to Naruto and walking with him and Zuko. Everyone else just fell a few steps behind them, with Asuka scolding Sasuke for saying such horrible things. Soon they stopped in front of a small boulder. Zuko pulled a small coin and slammed it into the rock. He then jumped back and did a few hand signs before he yelled out, Kai. Once that happened, the rock split in two and went into the ground. It revealed a path that led to a rather large enclave that could rival the Uchiha district in size. You could make out a small courtyard that served as the main walkway. In the center were 6 flags around a 7th flag. The first on the far right was red with a dark blue flame. In the middle right was a flag with a sword and hand on it, and the inner right was a flag of yellow with white swirling winds. The flag on the far left was one of black with a light blue water sign. The middle left was a flag of the sign of yen with a tiger on it. The inner left flag was brown with green rising from the bottom in a mountain pattern. The last flag was white with 6 foreign designs on them, each depicting a different image for the louts areas. "Step lightly or it could be your last in here," said Zuko, giving a small glance to everyone but Naruto and Toph. "Why would that be, Zuko-san?" asked Shino, adjusting his glasses. "Yeah, we're trained ninjas," said Kiba, who got glared at by Hinata and Hanabi. "Because even a Laut's agent that's on their 2nd year of training could beat a low Chunin hands down," said Toph as Naruto stepped forward. "Here at the temple there are 6 areas for training. Water, fire, earth, wind or air as we normally call it, non-elemental fighting, and healing. Master Paku heads the water training as well as training young men to be gentlemen. Master Jung Jung heads the fire training. Master Monk Gyatso heads the wind training as well as teaches classes on meditation. Master Bumi heads the earth training as well as arts. He's a bit wired. Weapons and hand-to-hand are handled by 2 masters. Master Piandao heads the weapons and Master Hakoda heads the hand-to-hand. It should be noted that he has 2 children attending here. The last course is also handled by 2 masters. A mother and daughter team. Mistress Kana, who likes to be called Gran instead of Mistress, and Mistress Kya, who is married to Master Hakoda. The Grand Master of this order is Grand Lautz Iroh, a kindly old man who is quite pleasant to be around, but a fierce man in battle," said Naruto with a smile. "Nah, Naruto," came a fragile voice that he would know anywhere. He turned and saw a person he hadn't seen in a while. "Azula," said Naruto in a whisper. The last time Naruto had seen was a week after she woke up after the attempt to take her own life. She looked better. Her piercing amber eyes held sadness that he hasn't seen in a long time. Her skin looked a little pale, but not very noticeable. Long black hair. She stood at 5 feet 5 inches, had an athletic body that let you know how she had been once. You could see a small scar on the left side of her neck. She wore the customary temple robes, but she had a patch on her shoulder that held the sign of the healers on it, but also weapons and fire. Next to her stood an elderly woman who looked kind and stood at 5 feet 4 inches. She wore blue robes with a slight modification as it had armor and held the sign of the senior healer and a master's pendant around her neck. "Naruto, Azula is a little shaken, Sashi Knight," stated Zuko, only to wide-mouthed at what he saw next. Azula ran up to Naruto and threw herself into his arms, before she started to beat his chest with tears in her eyes. "I had nightmares for so long because you weren't there to comfort me in those hours. It was so painful having that dream. The times I dreamed peacefully, I dreamed of you. I was so scared when you left the temple. I thought it was because of me and it destroyed my heart. The only men I could even go near were Zuko and Uncle Iroh. Please, Naruto, don't leave me again and make the nightmares go away. Please," said Azula as she broke down in sobs. Asuka wanted to say something, she really did, but this girl needed comfort. Hanabi was much the same, but you could see a bit of jealousy in her eyes if you looked hard enough, but it was quickly squashed as she didn't want to be that person who get pissed at every little thing. Naruto wrapped his arms around her in a tight embrace as he stroked her hair. "Shish, Azula, you never forced me to leave. I was being stupid when I put my duties before a friend in need, but I'm here now. I'm sorry I haven't been here for you, but I'll do my damnedest to be there for you when you need me, and I'll make sure those dreams never come back. I also have to tell you that that horrible man will never hurt you or anyone else ever again," said Naruto, rubbing circles on her back. Azula relaxed and soon couldn't keep her eyes open and fell asleep in Naruto's arms with a soft smile on her face. Zuko took her up and left the group while the elder woman walked up. She smiled at Naruto before wrapping him in a hug. She pulled back and looked at everyone else with a slight frown. "How has she been?" asked Naruto, looking worried. "Getting better, but will only come out her room with her brother, Iroh, or a female. Now that justice has been severed, the true healing can begin. The ninjas will have to be watched by the seers, said the woman as Naruto nodded. Of course, but I have faith in them, said Naruto bowing. The order is all about good faith, said the old woman smiling at Naruto. Hey, don't let this old hag tell you what to do, loser. Even you got more self-respect than that, said Sasuke while Kiba nodded. Sasuke, you idiot, thought Shikamaru as the elder woman moved so quickly that she was nose to nose with Sasuke. Listen boy, I know more than healing arts. Don't think I won't bend you over my knee and give you what for, said Kana narrowing her eyes. Please say it. Please be the dumbass I know you are, Sasuke, Naruto begged mentally. It must have worked as the next words sealed Sasuke's fate. I'd like to see you try, said Sasuke with a defiant smirk. Two small pillars of water rose up and formed a chair and a paddle. Kana grabbed Sasuke and set him over her knee as she began to hit him with the paddle. Everyone broke out laughing, even some of the students who were heading to different classes. Kana hit Sasuke 100 times before she let him up. Sasuke rubbed his ass. "'Bout damn time someone other than his mother did it. This kid's a real pain in the ass," said Asuma, taking a puff of the cancer stick in his mouth while Kurenai laughed. Sakura was struggling to hold in her laughter for her former crush, but lost it realizing he desired it and a bit more. Asuka was on the floor having trouble breathing, as was everyone else, while her brother was getting an ass whooping. Even the ever-quiet Shino and the ever-lazy Shikamaru were down, but Naruto and Hanabi, who were just turning off a video camera with big-ass grins on their faces. "You thinking what I'm thinking, Naruto-kun?" asked Hanabi as she was trying to hold in her laughter. "Yep, Hanabi-chan. We could blackmail Sasu-chan, or we send copies to every house in the village, and you know how I love a good prank," said Naruto. Naruto and Hanabi stared at each other before they nodded. "Prank emo king," said Naruto and Hanabi together with smirks that would do a certain torture specialist proud. In the Hidden Leaf Village, Anko sneezed as Ibuki and she stood over a man who tried to steal her dango. It was against the law by order of the third Hokage for anyone over the age of 13 to do that, and this guy Zhu happened to be 30. "Someone's talking about you. Something nice, I might add," said Ibuki, sharpening a knife. "Must be Iruka-kun. You know how he feels about me. I'm still limping from last night," said Anko with a small blush. "Let's just get back to this bastard. Everyone knows to stay away from my dango," said Anko, taking out a bottle of water and a spiked metal pole. The poor guy was crying for his mother in seconds, and Ibuki just felt sorry for the guy and sick at the things Anko was doing to him. Back at the temple, "That's what you get for insulting Kana. Although you got off lucky. When we were younger, Kana used to use 20 water whips on someone's backside," came a kindly old voice from behind them. Everyone turned and found a man who looked to be in his 60s. His hair was white and gone at the top. A bread accustomed his face along with his smile, and he was rather fit for a man his age. He wore the customary white along with black shoulder armor, a red haori with the lotus symbol on the back. Naruto narrowed his eyes at this man. "Dragon of the West, Iroh," said Naruto in a cold tone. Iroh looked confused. "What have I done to upset you?" asked Iroh, getting into his sleeves. Kana looked ready to laugh while the others prepared to battle, as they could sense tension in the air. "Yeah, where the hell is that tea you invited me to in your letter?" asked Naruto, smiling. Iroh, Naruto, Toph, and Kana all bust out laughing. Naruto walked up to Iroh and gave him a hug. Everyone eased up as they parted. "Everyone, this is Iroh, head of the Lautz Order and the man who helped train me and taught me the attacks that got him known as the Dragon of the West," said Naruto, patting Iroh on the back. "Please, Naruto, you're going to embarrass this old man, but you forgot the part where I whooped your behind in shogi," said Iroh with a hearty laugh. "The council shall gather at the end of the day. Sokka, Aang, Katara, Suki, and Jet are more than likely enjoying time in the temple main park. We'll look for Twinkle Toes' group," said Toph, grabbing Naruto by the hand and leading him off with Asuka, Hanabi, Sakura, and Sasuke following. "I don't like that Uchiha boy," said Iroh as Asuma and Kurenai left to walk around. All the other genin scattered, with Shino and Choji flanking Hinata, keeping her safe from Kiba, who was walking behind them. "Me either, Iroh. He has a taint about it. It can be pushed back now, but should it explode," stated Kana, whose face turned serious. "I'll order Sokka's team to kill him," said Iroh, rubbing his beard in thought. My grandson is strong and loyal, as are the members of his group. They'll only do what is necessary, Iroh, said Kanna. That's what worries me the most, said Iroh, more to himself than Kanna. Main Park in the temple. Toph, Naruto, Hanabi, Asuka, Sasuke and Sakura soon found themselves in what would be the equivalent of Training Ground 7. They saw two boys fighting each other and two girls just watching. The first boy had deep blue eyes, most of his black hair is pulled into a knot at the top of his head. He stood at 5 feet 6 inches, looked 15, he wore the robes of the temple, but in a dark shade of blue with the patch for the weapon's hand area. In his right hand was a black long sword. The next boy looked to be 17, messy black hair, black eyes, wearing the temple robes, but brown with the patch of the weapon hand patch on his shoulder. The last boy was wired. He stood at just about 5 feet 5 inches, and looked just about 13, he was completely bald with an arrow tattoo on his head, big brown eyes and a goofy grin on his face. He wore an orange and yellow one-shoulder robe that revealed he had another arrow on his right arm, brown pants, and boots. The patch on his shoulder revealed him as an air student. The first girl looked around 15 and stood at 5 feet 6 inches, dark brown hair that fell to the back of her neck. She wore a green battle kimono with old armor over her chest area. On her sides were two battle fans. The other girl looked around 13, stood at 5 feet 3 inches, long black hair and blue eyes, a blue shirt that fell to her knees in the front and back part with the symbol for water and healing on the left sleeve, blue pants, brown boots, with 4 small water bottles on the side. Twinkle Toes, Sugar Queen, Captain Hook, Suki, Captain Boomerang. I'm back and I brought Foxy with me, said Toph, causing everyone to look up and see Toph dragging Naruto towards them. Naruto, oh my god, it's been ages, said the girl with blue on as she gave Naruto a hug. Hey, guys, these are my friends. Suki is the girl in green, Jet is the boy with the hook swords, Sokka is the boy with the black sword and my main parking victim when I'm here, and my brother in all but blood. Aang is the boy with the yellow and a monk to boot. Last but not least is Katara. She is like a sister to me, said Naruto, pulling Katara back. After all the interdictions were made, Katara examined Naruto. Wow, you've gotten tall, said Katara, having to actually look up at him. It was expected. I'm just glad I'm not short like you, said Suki with a smirk. Who wants to be a freakily tall Amazon anyway, Suki? Asked Katara with her own smirk. Everyone laughed together except Sasuke. Naruto, have you gotten better using a staff and air binding? Asked Aang, looking at Naruto. I've gotten much better, Aang. I even have a few new tricks to show you later, said Naruto, looking at the hyper boy. Didn't I whoop you and Sokka last time? Said Naruto as he and Jet had to jump back from a sweeping motion Sokka did. Free for all sword battle then, said Sokka, putting his sword above his head. Jet got into his style while Naruto summoned his sword. Jet attacked first by attacking Sokka. Sokka blocked his first attack and then thrust his sword forward at Jet. That attack was blocked by Naruto, who then defied gravity and kicked Jet while spinning in the air and knocking Sokka off balance. Sokka recovered first and went after Jet. Jet recovered with enough time to do the splits and have Naruto's sword collide with Sokka's. Jet tried to curt their feet from under them, only for the two of them to jump and continue their fight in the air. Soon Jet joined them and they knocked each other. Naruto went after Sokka and Jet went after Naruto. Naruto jumped into the trees with Jet right behind him and Sokka just jumping from branch to branch looking for an opening. Jet went after Naruto with such force that the branch started to crack. They both jumped up as it started to fall. Jet forgot about Sokka and nearly fell onto the ground, but got one of his swords into the tree. Sokka and Naruto were both playing a game of back and forth until Sokka forced Naruto to jump to the ground. Naruto landed with Jet coming at him from the front and Sokka from the left side. Naruto blocked Jet's strike from behind and managed to jump on Sokka's sword tip. Naruto then flipped over Jet, who held a sword to Naruto's neck. Sokka held a sword to Jet's neck, and Naruto held a sword to Sokka's neck. They removed their swords from each other's necks and bowed to their opponents. Soon clapping could be heard in the background and you could see about 20 students there, along with a man who appeared to be in his later 40s, standing at 5 feet 11 inches, brown hair in a knot atop his head, wearing a dark brown robe and had a sword strapped to his side, light blue armor with the sword symbol on his chest. All three bowed along with Toph, Suki, Aang, Katara, Asuka, Sakura, Hanabi, and a very, very reluctant Sasuke. Master Piandao, said the three warriors in union. Tell me you three, what is the first law of swordsmanship? Said Piandao looking at the three. A sword is only an extension of one's soul. When one draws a sword they fight with heart, mind, and skill, the three said in perfect harmony. As you can see, first years that even prodigies like Sokka, a seventh year like Jet, and the leader of the Laut's Order Guardian Naruto know the basic rule of swords. We came out here today to learn about the environment in which you fight, but now I must ask for a 3-page summary on the very battle we just watched and what any of the three could have done to win. I expect them on my desk by tomorrow. Class dismissed, said Piandao as all the students bowed and left. Hello Master Piandao, said Naruto grinning. Hello Naruto-sama, it's good that you grace us with your presence here. I remember how the younger children admired you, said Piandao with a smile. Yes, it's good to be back at the Temple Moss, started Naruto. Whatever else Naruto was going to say, it was stopped as a large hawk flew over their heads and dropped a piece of paper in Piandao's hand. Everyone come with us, that is, the council will be in section soon. Do you normally let outsiders in? Asked Asuka. Normally no, but with a recommendation from Zuko and at the request of you senseis it got you in, said Piandao. Let's go, said Naruto as they took off into the trees. With Naruto's small group along with Master Piandao, Aang, Suki, Jet, Sokka, and Katara arrived at the Hall of the Masters. The hall was small and white on the outside, but on the inside it lowered to seat the masters and the members of the order who wished to attend, with the masters sitting around a large table and the other seats rising above them. On his way down to his seat, Naruto stopped and glared at Sasuke. Listen here all of you. This is an important meeting and I can't have you interrupting it. No matter what, you are to be silent until spoken to. That means you, Sasuke, said Naruto as he pulled out a scroll and sealed his normal Haori in it. He then summoned an all-black one with the kanji for Twilight Fox on it, and long sleeves with maelstrom-like patterns on it. He walks down the steps and saw all the masters assembled. He saw Piandao, Kanna, and Iroh sitting in their respective seats. Next to Piandao was a man who looked to be in his early 30s, long brown hair pulled into a top knot of brown bread, brown, standing at 6 feet 0 inches even. He had a powerful frame, wearing blue temple robes with blue-white rimmed armor over his chest with the weapon hand symbol on it. Across from him sat a man who looked to be in his late 70s, he was missing most of his hair, green eyes with a crazy grin on his face. Standing at 6 feet 6 inches he wore green temple robes with a patch for earth on his 8th shoulder. Across from him was a man with mop-like white hair and a mustache and dread. Standing at 5 feet 8 inches, coal black eyes, he wore red temple robes with the sign of fire on them. Next was a man with white hair that was missing at the top and fell to his shoulders, white bread and mustache, 5 feet 9 inches, brown eyes, wearing blue temple robes with the patch for water on his left shoulder. Next was another man who looked to be in his 60s, bald head with the same arrows as Aang, but his had a white mustache, standing at around 5 feet 7 inches. He wore yellow robes with the patch for wind on the front right. Last but not least was a woman who looked like an older version of Katara, but in her early 30s, she wore white and blue temple robes. Everyone state their names for the record of this meeting, said Iroh. Master Paku, head of the water training, said the old man in blue robes in a hard tone. Master Jung, head of the fire training, said the man in red robes. Master Gyatso, head of the air training, said the man in yellow robes. Master Bumi, head of the earth training and lover of rock candy, said the crazy old guy with a snort. Master Hakoda, head of the hand-to-hand training, said the younger man in blue robes. Master Piandao, head of the weapons training, said Piandao with a slight bow. Mistress Kanna, head of the healers training, said Kanna smiling. Mistress Kya, assistant head of healer training, said Kya bowing her head. Dragon of the West, Grand Laut's Iroh, said Iroh. The Twilight Fox, 5th Guardian, and leader of the Laut's Order Naruto Uzumaki. This meeting will now come into effect, said Naruto as everyone took their seats. What do our spies tell us about the moments of the Dark One? Asked Iroh looking at Jung. Our spies near the town water's edge tell us that the Dark One has employed a number of followers from the continent west of here. It also looks like they're using some of the old routes used in the last Shinobi War, said Jung Jung. Dark times those days were, and it appears that darker times are to come, said Gyatso, patting his bald head. The last Shinobi War, Master Gyatso? Asked Hakoda, looking at his wife, who was equally confused. A child through and thought, Hakoda. Of course you wouldn't know how the war was. Even Piandao was but a babe when it happened, said Bumi with a laughing snort. Now Bumi, that is most unbecoming of one in your position, said Kyo, looking at Bumi in disappointment. She's right, Bumi, said Paku. Sure ruin the old guy's fun, you young whippersnapper, said Bumi, pouting like a child. Hakoda, you and Kyo weren't born then, but to say the least it was just years of terror. Never knowing if you were the next to die. We of the Louts acted more like mercenaries for hire, but we only worked for two countries, Whirlpool and Fire. Whirlpool was nearly wiped out near the end of the war. Enough on the depressing matters for now. Naruto-sama wanted to bring something up, said Kana. Yes, I did. As you all knew, Seiryu, Byako, and Genbu are all dead. Suzaku is mortally wounded and in hiding. I'm here to tell you that I have found replacements for Byako and Seiryu, said Naruto in a quiet tone. Surely you can't be, started a member of the attending members, only to be silenced when Naruto slammed his hand on the table, before he glared at him.
Do not tell me what I can and cannot do as the leader. The other guardians were the closet thing I had to a family I had in this world, and now most are dead and one is in hiding. Right now I'm not even a match for the Dark One, and he's only at about 2/5 of his full power after our last battle, and even then it took those 4 to wound him badly enough to retreat. They trusted me with all their governing power, and I intended to use it in the way I think they would approve of. So I've chosen Hanabi Hyuga to be the new Azure Dragon of the East and Asuka Uchiha the new White Tiger of the West, said Naruto.
Naruto-sama, they are both good choices, but the final decision does not rely with you. It relies with the Guardians' pendants. They will go to the final chamber tomorrow and the pendants will test them. If they pass, they will become the new Guardians with the last Guardian's memory, said Iroh. Then this meeting is more than adjourned, said Kana, crossing. Just as Iroh was about to make the final call, a man burst into the room with sweat pouring down his face. Guardian Fox, Grand Louts Iroh, and Masters of the Louts, I bring troubling news, said the man, who appeared to be in his late 20s as he bowed. What is it that needs to be brought to our attention in the middle of a meeting? Asked Jung Jung in an irritated tone. Settle down, old friend. If it warrants a rush, then it must be important, said Bumi, losing his playful attitude. Indeed it does, Master Bumi. The Dark One has started a hidden village near Void Country. He plans to send a team of genin to the up-and-coming Chunin exams. It also pans out with the village of Sound, who too shall send a team, said the man. Thank you for this info. Knew we must send 2 teams to deal with this threat, said Iroh, only for Naruto to stand up. There is no need to scene in 2, Master Iroh. If you send Zuko and Toph, I can claim them as people we meet in Steel Country with forgotten bloodlines getting as spies in Konoha. You can also send Aang, Katara, and Sokka as an undercover team. Sarutobi is a good man, and will accept as they are not listed in the bingo books. The only problem is the council, said Naruto. That is acceptable. All those in favor, said Iroh. Every member of the council raised their hand. Very well, the 5 mentioned shall attend the Chunin exams to gather information on the Dark One. Hold it, I've been quiet, but what is the name of this person you call the Dark One? How can you just be so scared of him? I demand to know his name, said Sasuke. The room fell silent as Naruto turned to Sasuke. They stared at each other with looks of fire in each of their eyes. To the normal observer it was just a stare down, but if you looked closer you could see Sasuke starting to sweat and Naruto look as cool as a cucumber. Naruto closed his eyes, shook his head, and sighed before glancing at Sasuke once again. Sasuke, I'll tell you his name. Everyone remember it well, as this will be the first time I issue a flee on-site order for one Madara no Makai 1. Victory is important, but not as important as someone's life. Remember it, said Naruto, walking out with Toph following. Do you think Naruto-kun will be alright, Kurenai-sensei? Asked Asuka, looking at Kurenai. Saying that name brought up a past that he is trying to put behind him and move on, but with the things Sasuke just said Kurenai. If something is wrong with Naruto-kun, I'll castrate you, said Hanabi, glaring at Sasuke, who just went back to brooding. With Naruto and Toph, Naruto stormed over to the Earth training grounds, with Toph keeping a small distance away. Naruto stopped in the middle of the field and slammed his foot into the ground before a small army of 100 Earth golems rose up with various weapons. Toph, please animate them for me, said Naruto, summoning a white and blue sectioned staff that was at least 7 feet long, a 9-inch blade on either side. Toph cracked her knuckles with a grin on her face. You got it, Foxy, said Toph, making Naruto grin as well. It took the better part of an hour to destroy all the stone warriors, as Toph loved to make more and even modified them with spike armor. Naruto lay on the ground with Toph sitting next to him with a shit-eating grin on her face. Naruto gave a glare to the girl before laughing. Toph, you're insane, said Naruto with a smile. Yeah, I am a bit insane, but it comes with the territory, said Toph with a small sad smile on her lips. Territory? Asked Naruto. I can't see like a normal person, remember? Things like beauty, color, and all that stuff have no real meaning for me. Sometimes I envy others. I can feel, but seeing. I don't even know if I'm ugly or not, said Toph, only to feel her chin lift a bit. You're not ugly, Toph. You're a beautiful young woman, said Naruto. That's not what some of the boys say, said Toph with a sad expression on her face. Hey now, don't get all depressed on me. I thought you were Toph, the unmovable rock who throws caution to the wind, said Naruto. Naruto, it's just that, sometimes being a rock that can't see isn't enough, said Toph with the tears falling from her eyes. Naruto kissed both her cheeks, taking away the tears. You know, Toph, you don't have to always be strong. I've seen your temper flare, I've seen you get upset, but I've never seen you cry. Even Katara has cried, and she's one of the strongest people I know. Please, Toph, don't hold back on my account. I'm the leader of the order, but I'm a friend first, said Naruto, pulling her into a strong hug. That was all Toph could take before she broke down crying. She then grabbed Naruto. Don't let go. Don't let go, said Toph over and over again. Toph, I won't let go, said Naruto. Toph pulled back out from Naruto's embrace and kissed him. To Naruto it wasn't like Asuka's or Hanabi's kisses, which were lust-filled and had a few hints of love. These were filled with joy, sorrow, and love. This was the kiss of someone who had found the love of their life. Toph pulled back a bit and had a small blush on her face. Toph may be a warrior, but she was also a woman. Toph leaned into where she knew Naruto's ear was. Naruto, please make love to me. You're the only one would even consider doing this with, said Toph, kissing him again. Naruto stared into Toph's eyes as they broke the kiss. Toph may not have been able to see, but she was able to feel his eyes locked onto hers. Toph, I care for you, so I'm going to ask you, are you sure about this? Toph, you know me better than anyone, said Naruto as it was Toph's turn to force his head up. That's why I like you. Not for the danger, but because I know you. You're kind, caring, not to mention you have a sense of humor to die for, said Toph as she hugged Naruto. Naruto let out a small laugh as he leaned in and gave Toph a kiss. You're too strange, Toph, but you're unique, said Naruto as they both got up and began to walk to Naruto's room with Toph on his back as she kissed his ear. Of course I am Foxy, said Toph with a light smile. Naruto's room. Naruto fell onto the bed with Toph laying on his chest. They both had sweat pouring down their bodies and both panted. Naruto, that was just, said Toph, lost for words. Toph, did you mean what you said about loving me? Asked Naruto, looking into Toph's eyes. Toph felt Naruto looking into her eyes again. Naruto, I meant every word I said tonight. I love you. I want to be with you. I want to have your children someday. That's how much I love you. It started with a crush, but it turned into more. I just couldn't imagine a future without you, friend or otherwise. That's how much I love you, said Toph, hugging Naruto. Naruto smiled. Toph, I love you as well. I'll tell you now, anything I've done before tonight was mostly out of lust. But this is love. I love Asuka and Toph, but not like I love you, and I have a strong lust towards them, but it's not complete love. With you it's different. Toph, I love you, said Naruto. Toph hugged him harder and they fell asleep in each other's arms. In Naruto's mind, don't say I never did you a favor, Naruto-kun, said a woman with long red hair, purple eyes, a 5 feet 4 inches frame with a heavenly body, wearing black leather pants, a tube top and a red coat. She then started to laugh. As she retreated the memories of Naruto and Toph. She watched as they mated watched Naruto with Toph. She got hot. One day I'll be free and then you'll mate me and leave the others. Just for me, the woman said with a smirk. Next morning, Toph woke up and smiled as she remembered last night. She still had her eyes closed. She then opened them and let out a small scream that woke Naruto up. Toph, what's wrong? Asked Naruto looking around. I can see. Naruto, I can see, said Toph turning to look at Naruto. Naruto stared at Toph as he saw her now brown eyes. Naruto then smiled. At least you won't just hear any kids we have grow. You'll be able to watch, said Naruto as Toph jumped up and hugged him with tears in her eyes. Oh thank you Kami, said Toph finally being able to see light for the first time in her life. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next part.